Buzzy HBO shows, Universal monster movies, and an unusual Suicide Squad role. It's obvious why Riley and The Last of Us look so familiar. In Season 1, Episode 6 of HBO's The Last of Us, Joel ends up taking a nasty piece of wood to the abdomen, and Ellie wonders if her newly adopted father will survive. Judging by almost every encounter the duo has had in the past, the odds don't exactly look good in Ellie's eyes. Basically, if there was ever a time for a reprieve from the relentlessness of The Last of Us, that moment is now. Giving the audience a breather from Joel's harrowing present, Episode 7 tells Ellie's backstory. Raised in the Fedra-run military school, there is little room for freedom. However, Ellie does form a friendship with another student named Riley, who ends up leaving her to join the Fireflies. While the Fireflies are dubbed a terrorist organization, Riley is important to Ellie. In this world, friends are few and far between. Unsurprisingly, a young actor who has already appeared in many high-profile projects was selected to take on one of the most important roles in The Last of Us so far.
No, I appreciate your mercy.
As a child, Storm Reid was no stranger to acting, but it was her leading role in A Wrinkle in Time which set her up for success and saw her starring alongside Chris Pine, Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, and Mindy Kaling. A Wrinkle in Time is known to many because it's based on a classic science fiction children's book. Written in the 1960s by Madeleine L'Engle, the story was the start of a 5-book series about Meg Murray and the search for her missing father. 2018's feature film wasn't the first time the book was adapted, but it did break many barriers in the process. With Selma director Ava DuVernay at the helm, the film gives an alternate perspective to a book that was released over half a century ago. Casting Reid in the lead role contrasted with previous adaptations and was a significant step for representation. Even though DuVernay theorized that not everyone would appreciate the casting of a young girl of color in the leading role, many found merit in the final product. Despite the fact that the film received mixed reviews, it remains a beautiful and sweeping story that stays true to the book. Reid would later reunite with DuVernay in 2019 for the director's acclaimed limited series When They See Us, based on the tragedy of the Central Park Five. In that project, she played Lisa, the real-life girlfriend of Corey Wise. The Universal Monster universe never really took off, but Leigh Whannell deserves respect for his updated version of classic movie The Invisible Man. Starring Elizabeth Moss, the 2020 film follows one woman's attempt to rid herself of abusive ex-boyfriend Adrian, who just so happens to be a tech genius. The insidious abuse that Cecilia experienced during their relationship was so severe that she doesn't believe it when she's told that Adrian has died from suicide. Unfortunately for her and those around her, she is proven right when Adrian resurfaces with technology that allows him to be invisible. Everyone suffers, especially Sydney, played by Storm Reid, the daughter of Cecilia's friend James. Adrian hits Sydney when only Cecilia is in the room, framing her for the attack. Sydney is the ultimate innocent in the situation, unable to understand what happened to her. Cecilia eventually gets the better of her ex at the end of The Invisible Man, but not before so much damage is done. Reid doesn't have a large amount of screen time, but she does exemplary work, and displays heartbreaking emotion in one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the entire movie. DC's 2021 reboot of 2016 Suicide Squad came with many surprises, both delightful and heart-wrenching. After his Marvel tenure, James Gunn arrived in the director's chair to keep what worked from the previous film and set everything else on fire. In a wise move, he kept Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag for an all-new adventure. Opting to remove Jared Leto's Joker and the character's controversial relationship with Harley from the Suicide Squad, Gunn instead decided to tell a universal story about the power of family.
We're all gonna die.
I hope so.
At the center of this story is Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba, who is in prison for trying to kill Superman. As if that wasn't enough to prove he's no hero, he also happens to be a terrible father. Because of his past with his own father, Bloodsport pushes away his daughter Tyla, who's played by Reid, when she visits him in prison. But underneath it all, he does care for her. In fact, Amanda Waller blackmails Bloodsport into joining the Suicide Squad because of his love for his daughter. And through all his trials and tribulations, he takes one step closer to being a worthy father. HBO's hit teen drama Euphoria stars Zendaya as drug-addicted high schooler Rue, and the series focuses on the sharpest experiences of growing up.
Class of 26 is obsessed with Euphoria.
Relationships are at the center of the series, and that includes a conflict Rue has with her family. In Season 2, Rue has a dramatic relapse, which culminates in a harrowing scene between her and her sister Gia, who is played by Reid. While the sisters have a profound bond, the foundation of their relationship is shaken to its core. At such a young age, Reid demonstrates that she has an acting range on par with her Emmy-winning co-star. Discussing her off-screen relationship with Zendaya, Reid told Elle Australia, "It's important to have some conversations and get to know a person before you are doing these emotional scenes with a person." With so many incredible performances under her belt, Reid's star is only going to rise further following her appearance on The Last of Us.